Well, hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to 9 Minute Monday. So excited to jump into another great week and talk about another just key element of leadership that I think is so essential to help us lead well each and every week. So that's the purpose of 9 Minute Monday, is just to take a few minutes of your day and of the start of your work week to help equip you with some ideas and some things to be thinking about. And so today I want to talk about 7 essentials for leading a team to a vision. So for those of you who are in any type of leadership environment, I'm sure you've had those moments where you have a big idea, you have a grand vision, you have a big goal that you want to accomplish, and yet leading a team of people to actually accomplish that goal can be a bit challenging, right? And so I want to kind of reflect on actually something, give you a bit of a story of my dynamics in my family and some of the leadership lessons I've kind of learned from this. So some of you have probably noticed this before, but I am married to an adventurer. My husband is not a social media guy. You will rarely see him. I have to get lots of permission to take any pictures or feature him in social media stuff. But he is an adventurer through and through. And it's probably a good idea that when I was a naive 23-year-old when we got married, that I didn't realize just how much of an adventurer he is. It's kind of become something of a game in our family that wherever we are, he is going to find the highest peak and he is going to climb it. And so for the number of years that we lived on the West Coast, this was particularly an issue because some of the highest points in the highest points in the lower 48 are in California. And so while we lived there, he had big dreams and aspirations to climb some of the highest peaks. And so we've hiked Yosemite's Half Dome and Mount Lyell. And then last summer, we really challenged ourselves to conquer Mount Whitney, which if any of you have hiked Mount Whitney, it is no small feat. It is 22 miles round trip, absolutely excruciating, 14,505 feet of elevation, and it's kind of a beast. So, but my husband was really intent on doing this, and this was one of those things that I have just learned is a great time for us to spend time together and kind of conquer a challenge together. And so with the vision before him, my husband began preparing us for this trip. And he began months out preparing us for this trip and kind of, just doing some of the research to understand the hike, doing the shopping to buy all the gear that we needed. And so we set off hiking that mountain last summer. And it was probably one of the most difficult and challenging things I have ever done in my life. Literally, there were places, they call it the chute. If you're familiar with Mount Whitney, there's a section called the chute that is, when we hiked, it was all snow-packed. And so you had to use crampons that are like steel spikes attached to your shoes to help you climb up the mountain. And at one particular spot in the chute, really the whole chute, I had to have the crampons on, and literally I'm counting 10 steps at a time because it's like nearly just straight up. And I'm counting 10 steps at a time, taking a deep breath and keeping going. And so that just gives you an idea of the challenge of this particular mountain. One of the most challenging things I've done. And as I reflected on it, I realized how significant it was to have the strategic leadership of my husband kind of helping map this out, his vision for it, his preparation for it, and just his willingness to lead me through accomplishing such a big goal. See, for him, Mount Whitney was this glorious vision and opportunity. It was exciting. It energized him. The idea of summiting one of the highest peaks in our country was really exhilarating for him. He had a vision and confidence to scale that mountain. Sounds similar to some of your visions that you guys want to accomplish? For me, as one of the followers, Mount Whitney was a daunting challenge. Like, it was kind of terrifying. I doubted my abilities. I feared the unknown and the uncertainties and what was going to happen. When would we get hurt, and what would happen if we got hurt, and all of the questions, right, that you would have when you're facing something you've never done before. But I wanted to embrace my husband's vision, but I had a lot of uncertainties about it, right? And this is true. I see similar parallels for leaders of organizations and their teams. That the leader sees a grand vision, has this big opportunity for the future, that the leader is a visionary. They see the potential. They see the possibility. They see the splendor of the summit in their mind's eye, like they see it, right? You guys have been there. They have a level of confidence in their ability to achieve the vision, and they're eager to bring others with them to experience the joy of accomplishing such a grand vision. But the distinction I see between the leader who's able to compel people to join them in the pursuit of the vision and the leader who struggles to keep a unified team alongside him has more to do with the discipline of the leader than the capability of the followers. Now listen to that for a minute, that the ability to help lead a team to reach that summit has more to do with your discipline as a leader than the capability of the followers. And what I often hear from leaders is that their team just can't keep up, they don't know how to lead others, or they don't get it. And so we have all of these excuses that we make for our team when we're trying to accomplish a big goal. And I think that as leaders, there's some disciplines we have to deploy in order to bring people with us. Leaders, what you don't want to hear but needs to be said is that you have to learn new disciplines to lead your team to new heights. Did you catch that? That you as the leader have to learn new disciplines to lead your team to new heights. And so I want to give you really quickly, so this is a really fast snapshot, I want to give you 7 things to be thinking about when you're trying to lead a team to a vision. These are the 7 essentials that are going to be the differentiator between succeeding together as a team or failing in accomplishing that vision. And the first thing is simple. It's just plan the route, right? Like my husband started months ahead of time, kind of mapping out the route and knowing what it was going to take. And that in order to ascend it together, he'd need to take some time to plan the route and kind of know he could do it more on the fly because of his athletic ability, because of, just his experiences in similar circumstances. He could probably wing this a little bit more. And this happens to a lot of us as leaders, is that we have the ability to kind of wing it, but we have to be more deliberate to plan the route so we can anticipate what it's going to mean for our teams that we're trying to lead. The second thing is we need to prepare the gear. What's it going to take? What will it require? Is it going to mean extra staff or budget to accomplish this vision? Is there more training that we need in specific areas? And so on our mountain, he sent me links to videos and different things for me to become familiar with the mountain and what to expect. He made sure I got the gear and he showed me how to use all the gear. The same thing is true for us and our teams, that we've got to anticipate what are they really going to need? And how do we prepare them for the journey? The third thing is we need to educate them. There's a place where we have to kind of educate the team on what it's going to take. We need to give them a little visibility into what it's going to take to actually accomplish this goal, and then equip them with the tools they need. So how do you need to educate your team for what's ahead? What challenges will they encounter that they haven't experienced before, and they're going to need some different skills, or they're going to need some different training? What criticism will they hear from others as you begin trying to accomplish this vision together? And how do you want them to respond? So thinking through, how do I educate my team to be prepared to accomplish this vision? Number 4 is you need to carry a heavier load. Part of a leader's responsibility is to go first, to kind of be out ahead. You see things that others don't see. You also need to bear more burden than the rest of your team. And in our case, my husband's pack is usually twice as heavy as mine. He knows that he has more endurance, he has more strength, more capability. So he takes a heavier load, and I don't even carry all the things that I actually need. I still have a pack, I still have responsibility, I still am loaded down with the things I need, yet he's going to carry a few extra things because he can. Because that's part of the leader's responsibility, is to bear just a bit more of the burden. So what do you need to carry for your team? What part of the burden, the responsibility of this vision that you have, can you carry just a bit heavier load so that your team can actually go the distance with you? Number 5, slow your pace. Now, this is a big one for us as leaders because we are so eager to get to that goal that we want to move faster towards the goal than the rest of the team is capable of. And part of it is we've been living with the vision for longer. We're more comfortable with the vision. And so we're ready to run faster towards the goal. But the discipline of the leader is realizing that you need to slow your pace in order to keep everyone moving with you. So sometimes it's going to mean it's going to take you a little longer to achieve that goal or that vision, but you want to get there with everyone versus getting there alone. Number 6 is encourage along the way. That discouragement is going to start creeping in, that it's going to get hard and it's going to get tiresome and your team is going to get frustrated. And for you as the leader, you still see this big goal and this vision and you're still energized, and you might have your moments of doubt or uncertainty and you have to even work to encourage yourself and work through your own doubt, but it's going to be that much more compounded for your team, that they're navigating and wrestling their doubts and fears and frustrations. And so you've got to be really intentional to keep encouraging them and to keep challenging them and to keep that vision in front of them, reminding them of how far they've come, how good they're doing. Take it step by step. When you sense that they need a break or we need to kind of do a little slowdown and a reprieve, to be intentional to do that so they can refuel and they can rest and they can be ready to keep going. And number 7, then you need to keep leading. When we're leading towards a big vision, it takes time. And we've got to remember that we just need to keep one step in front of the other, and we need to just stay a couple steps ahead of the rest of the team. We can't run way ahead because they're going to get even more frustrated and more discouraged, but we've got to take it step by step and keep leading well towards that vision, anticipating challenges and spurring everyone along, because your steady leadership provides the comfort and strength to your team to keep them with you moving towards that vision. So I want you to be thinking about those 7 things this week. I want you to think about that looming mountain, that big vision that you have that you're hoping to accomplish, and you want to compel your team to go with you and accomplish this vision together. How can you do those 7 things? How can you plan the route? Just plan it out, have a map, prepare the gear. What do they need to accomplish it? Educate them so that they're prepared to do it. Carry a little bit heavier load. Just realize that's part of your responsibility as a leader. Slow your pace to match theirs. Nudge them, push them, move them along, encourage them along the way, and then keep leading well. Because leaders, we get this remarkable privilege of leading others to extraordinary outcomes, to leading others to these big visions that we are passionate about. But we've got to slow down, set the pace, and then experience the success of going together, of accomplishing this vision together. So whatever the goal is, whatever the vision is that you're navigating this week, I hope you'll keep those things in mind. Let us know how you're doing, and keep leading well. And we'll talk to you next week.